Welcome to For Real Music. I'm Vincent, and today we have Mark Roma, all the way from UK. What's up, Mark?
I'm good, thanks for having me, guys.
How do you feel being in Hong Kong today?
So, apart from being super hot, it's actually my first time to Asia, and Hong Kong's always been a bucket list of mine, so I'm super excited to be here for the first time.
So I'm going to say that's your Hong Kong premiere. This is where your Asian career launches.
Definitely.
From Hong Kong,
Definitely.
right?
Hong
Okay.
Kong onwards.
Exciting. What are you hoping to share with our Hong Kong audience?
So, I've actually prepared lots of new mashups, lots of unreleased music that's never been heard before. So yeah, quite a few exclusives.
Okay.
To drop tonight.
We're getting the drop here. I'm going to ask that later on during our interview together. So we're going to keep that a secret. Right now, we all know you're from Liverpool. How did that place, growing up so close to that city, impact your music career?
So, because I'm kind of on the outskirts of Liverpool and that's the closest city, when I was younger, going to like university and stuff, I'd go clubbing there where bigger DJs like Laidback and Blasted Jacks, who I've always been a big fan of, playing there. So going clubbing and watching them play and like hearing all the sounds that they play, it just influenced me to get into DJing and producing myself, and it all just stemmed from there. So
it's really lucky that you heard them when they were also growing and developing, because you can see a track progress and then you can adapt that to yourself, right?
Yeah, as they were really like exploding onto like, it was like peak EDM season.
Kind of like your mentor, like far away, would you say? Like you observed them and you were able to see that progression onwards?
Yeah, Luke for sure. Luke has always been super good to me with like advice and tips on music production, and yeah, so I meet up with him in Liverpool every time he's there.
Super cool. Now, you're one of UK's more exciting and up-and-coming DJ producers. Who else do you think highly of?
Well, it depends on the genres, because there's so many. If you want trance, you've got Lee Follen and Split DNA. If you want techno, you've got Lewis Late. If you want house, you've got Make It Last and Jay Harlan. Just, there's so many.
I like how you mentioned different genres, because broadening our musical palette is really how musicians and producers grow and develop and creating milestones, right?
Yeah.
Talking about big hits, you have your Plain or Pleasure, big hit, #1 on 1001 Tracklist and Beatport's Mainstage chart. How did that feel for you to get that milestone?
So, Pleasure or Pain was actually a collaboration with Kryder, who I was also a big fan of for ages. I just happened to be able to like meet all my idols, and then I end up working with them, which is really cool. So when that went to #1, it was like extra special. Couldn't believe it. But I was in my day job in the office, so it was like really quiet excitement, like, oh my God. And then had to be super quiet.
How did you celebrate? Because it's like all pent up, like you're in the office, like I cannot be yelling. How did you celebrate afterwards?
I believe I got extremely drunk. So went out and partied.
Well, definitely something to celebrate. And it's interesting how DJs are actually we have two lives, right? Sometimes we had to have our day job and then balancing with DJing, and then having that balance in our lives is very essential. How that works with your life, like you mentioned your routine during the day.
Yeah, so I actually only very recently was able to give up my day job. But even when I had that, I would get up early to, still go to the gym, do my day job, and then it was very structured when I come home. So I'd always get in maybe 4 or 5 hours in the studio. But even now, I still get up super early and just treat the music as my job still. So I'll do 10 to 12 hours in the studio every day, get up at the same time, eat at the same time, just, super structured.
I think a lot of people don't get to see that side of a DJ. Everyone sees it from late nights, big festivals. Oh, they're just doing their thing. Everything's already pre-programmed. Like, no, there's a lot of hard work behind it, yeah?
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Definitely. And that's how all this hard work adds up to create big milestones. Like Faith Become One blew up with big DJs working together. How did that feel to have such a legend champion your work?
Yeah, so it was actually Armin van Buuren who played it first. So after COVID and all the lockdowns, there was like almost a couple of years of no events, no festivals. And the very first festival that Armin played, I think it was in Spain, I got sent a video of him playing my track by like strangers who I'd never spoken to before. And they're like, oh my God, Armin just played the track. And then on that scene, I was like, this is insane. Because the first set back up after COVID, he played my song and it just all exploded from there. So all the DJs that I could think of started playing too. Yeah,
That's how
I was also number one on 1001 as well. So.
Yes, I'm hearing when you said you really lucked out by like meeting all these producers at different stages of their life, and then people catching your track and playing. What you're feeling right now?
Maybe a little bit, but I try to keep up to date with their tour schedule. So if they're ever at an event where I can get to, and maybe try my luck at getting backstage, that's where the luck gets in, and then meet them. Because face to face is super important.
Yes.
So there's only so many emails and stuff you can send, but when you have that face to face, even if it's super brief, if you keep it up, it's makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I heard you got some feedback from David Guetta and other big names. How does that work for your music creation?
So, I mean, the big guys like Armin has his big radio show ASOT. David Guetta is like the biggest DJ in the world. So whenever he's playing my music in his sets, people hear it. And I've actually got like Shazam data, so I know when people are like trying to work out what my new song is from like in the club, so I can sort of tell before it releases that it's getting like hyped up.
Oh, that's really cool. I know you go backstage as much as you can and try to interact with them.
Yeah.
How does that impact your career? Like going to actually move forward to update yourself, keep yourself on track, and then trying to catch those mentors and leading figures to give you tips. Is that what makes you where you are now?
I'd say it's a big part of it, yeah. So when I mentioned Laidback Luke being in Liverpool quite often, I actually ended up being on the support lineup for his show back in February. So, and also Kryder, who I'm racing with, we always keep in touch. And when he played in London, I was on the support for there. So like the more you interact and stay friends with DJs, they might invite you to play on one of their shows. So
connections are very important. Now, we're going to move on to your creative styles, because I heard that you have a really strict schedule. You're up in the morning, putting all your time and dedicating it into the studio. You worked with blending future rave influences, like from David Guetta, as we mentioned before, and then progressive vibes from Swedish House Mafia. How do you balance those sessions or those styles and also maintain your characteristic?
So my signature sound is a good mix of Future Rave and like progressive. So I like the dark basses of Future Rave, but then the melodies of like Swedish progressive house music. And then even during my DJ sets, I'll play some dark and moody, energetic stuff, but then give the audience a bit of a break and play something melodic, a bit like a break from like just pure energy, and then go straight back to the heavy Future Rave drops. So it's like a mix.
I like how you're considering the audience perspective, because it could be quite overwhelming to just stay in one genre or one style, and you're giving that contrast, and that really what's attracting the audience as well. How do you create that energy? Like, how would you build up to it in your set? Like, do you start in a certain way and then progress another?
So usually my go-to is just to sort of gauge what audience I've got. I'll play maybe 3 tracks of different subgenres. So I'll play like a dark moody one, a melodic one, and maybe like a groovy like house music one. And whenever one goes down the best, I'll sort of like taper it to be more that. So it just depends. So if I'm playing a big festival, they usually want loads of energy. If it's a club, sometimes it might be more chilled but like still groovy. So yeah, it just depends. I can play where I need to.
Perfect. You're very adaptable. Now, in the studio, how do you create that sound? Because it's quite a contrasting choice of ideas, because it's like energy and then it's very melodic. How do you pull that together in the studio?
So it's similar sort of process. I'll usually hear one specific element in a track that I like. So it might be like a really dark bass, but then a melody from a different one, and then maybe some background noises and just, you know, shots and stabs and stuff from another track, and I'll just sort of blend it and try and make something fresh. So yeah, it seems to work so far.
With blending, are you experimenting with new styles?
Not so much chill, but like melodic techno, so like deeper vibes is what I'm going for at the moment, because out of lockdown we had like a lot of techno. It was just like high energy. Just,
everything was high energy.
All the time, so I'm going for more melodic and chilled, deeper vibes.
I would like to ask you for a landscape of how you, or soundscape of your DJ, like if I were to put it on a map. I'm hearing a lot of low bass lines. Where does your melody sit? Like, is it mid-range or is it very high up? Where would you put it usually?
Definitely more mid to high range. Usually, if I have a bass, it's very consistent and just stays like low just to keep the energy on the track. And then the melody can, you know, range, it can jump up and down, stay in the middle or super high. I like to sometimes jump from mid to high or high to mid just to keep the interest going, but the bass will stay super consistent, yeah.
One more follow-up. Being a melody, is it more melodic or a static? Like, what kind of choice is your favorite go-to? Like, is it very smooth and legato, or is it more agitated and constantly repetitive?
Definitely the latter. I do tend to have a style when it comes to melodies. Even when I've done like collaborations with other DJs, people message me and say, I could tell that's your melody, sort of thing. The other DJs maybe doing like the other stuff, they'll say that's a Mark Roma melody. So
that's perfect, cool. Because I think that's why you're getting a lot of hits on Shazam, because melodies are what most people, or at least humans, recognize, and it's so you're building your sense also in the balance of a low melody. So that's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, being in Hong Kong, your Asia premiere, what have you prepared? We're getting back to your new release tracks. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, so I've actually got multiple new collaborations that are unreleased, and I'm going to be debuting here. Some big artists such as Cuebrick, Dimitri Vangelis Wyman, and a couple of remixes for some big DJs such as Andrew Rayel. So they're all being premiered here, so it's going to be as good as a set as possible.
Okay, that's going to be a very flavorful idea. Now, final question. Being in Hong Kong, you hear Hong Kong's a very noisy city. Did you pick up any sounds that you might want to introduce into your set? Because you're talking about some melodies, some ecstatic sounds, and recognizable tunes. Hong Kong's very loud, you probably heard.
Yeah.
Are there any things that you may want to inspire like into your music?
Yeah, so I get the impression that most people are very, very happy in Hong Kong compared to the UK. Sorry, UK.
Maybe it's the weather.
Maybe it's the weather, yeah. There's actually sun over here. So yeah, I think maybe I'll be pushing more uplifting, happy styles tonight.
Okay, well, that sounds very exciting. Thank you, Mark, for joining us. It was really nice to hear your creative process, and thank you for drawing that land map so I visually see it and we were able to recognize what makes a Mark Roma melody so special. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for real music so you can catch more exclusive interviews with amazing stars like Mark. See you next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.